What gives a woman true honor is not status, beauty, or wealth, but the taqwa that lives within her heart. It is this taqwa that becomes her shield, her guide, and her crown. A woman who holds firmly to the consciousness of Allah carries a light that cannot be dimmed by society, fashion, or opinion. Her decisions are guided by faith, her strength is drawn from patience, and her dignity shines without needing to be displayed. This is the crown that Allah places upon her, unseen by the world, yet radiant in His sight, lifting her to a rank far greater than any earthly throne could give. True honor for a woman is not found in the jewels she wears, nor in the titles society may give her. Her crown is woven with faith, a crown that shines in her character and radiates through her actions. It is invisible to the eye, but undeniable to the heart. Faith gives her dignity that no material wealth can replace. A crown of gold may fade, tarnish, or be taken away, but the crown of taqwa remains with her in this world and is honored by Allah in the hereafter. When a woman places her trust in Allah, every step she takes is filled with strength. Her faith becomes her crown, reminding her that her worth is not tied to the approval of people, but to the mercy of her Creator. The world often measures value by beauty or wealth, yet Allah measures by faith and sincerity. A woman adorned with taqwa is more radiant than one adorned with gold, because her crown is eternal, while worldly crowns are temporary. Her crown of faith is woven through prayer. Every time she bows her head in sujud, she polishes that crown. Every tear shed in dua adds a jewel to it, making it shine brighter than any ornament crafted by human hands. When she chooses modesty over display, patience over anger, and trust in Allah over fear of the future, she strengthens her crown. These choices are the threads of faith that make her shine as a true queen. Gold is admired for its sparkle, but faith is admired for its light. Her crown of faith glows in the darkness of trials, guiding her heart and protecting her soul from despair. This crown gives her a unique strength. It does not need validation from society, for its value is recognized in the heavens. Angels record her patience, her kindness, and her devotion, weaving it into her eternal honor. Her crown of faith is not placed upon her by people, but by Allah. He grants dignity to those who humble themselves before Him. In that humility lies her true greatness. Gold may weigh down the head that wears it, but faith lifts her higher. Her crown does not make her arrogant, it makes her compassionate, loving, and a source of inspiration for those around her. The Prophet's wives and the righteous women of history carried this crown. They may not have had palaces or treasures, yet their faith gave them a status that kings and queens could never reach. When a woman carries this crown, her presence brings comfort. Her words are wise, her actions sincere, and her smile filled with mercy. Such a crown cannot be bought. It is earned through closeness to Allah. Her crown of faith is timeless. It does not age with her, nor does it diminish with hardship. Instead, every challenge she overcomes adds strength and beauty to it, making her shine brighter. Faith crowns her with resilience. While others may stumble under the weight of life, she stands firm because her crown reminds her that Allah is with her, guiding her through every storm. Her crown of faith is her passport to Jannah. On the day of judgment, when all worldly crowns crumble, hers will remain, honored by Allah, celebrated by angels, and shining with the light of sincerity. Taqwa is not just a shield from sin, it is a light that brightens the path of a believer. For a woman, this light shapes her soul, illuminating her choices and guiding her through life's challenges with clarity and strength. When taqwa settles in her heart, she sees the world differently. What others chase in vanity, she views with caution, knowing that true success is not in possessions, but in living with Allah's consciousness. This light brings peace. Even in moments of fear or hardship, taqwa whispers to her soul that Allah is near, watching over her and preparing something better than what was lost. The beauty of taqwa is that it refines the unseen parts of a woman. Her intentions, her patience, her humility, all are shaped and polished by the light of faith, even before her outward actions. Taqwa strengthens her against temptation. The world may call her to trends or desires, but the light in her heart keeps her firm, reminding her that dignity is worth more than temporary pleasures. This light also protects her from despair. When others feel hopeless, Taqwa reminds her that Allah's mercy is greater than her sins and His wisdom greater than her struggles. Her soul becomes radiant with taqwa, and this radiance is felt by others. People may not see the crown she wears, but they feel her sincerity, her calmness, and the tranquility that surrounds her presence. The light of taqwa gives her courage to walk away from what displeases Allah. It gives her strength to say no to what harms her and yes to what elevates her. That is true empowerment. Unlike worldly beauty that fades with age, the light of taqwa grows stronger with time. Each act of worship, each moment of patience adds brightness to her soul. Taqwa makes her resilient in trials. Instead of asking, "Why me?" she says, "Allah knows best." This light reshapes pain into growth, turning wounds into wisdom. Her soul is not shaped by what people say about her, but by the light that Allah places within her. That light makes her independent of society's judgment and dependent only on her Creator. The Quran calls taqwa a garment. Just as clothes protect the body, taqwa protects the soul, covering it with purity and shielding it from the stains of sin. Taqwa also shapes her relationships. She treats others with mercy because she fears Allah. She forgives because she seeks His forgiveness. And she loves because her love is tied to faith. Her soul, lit with taqwa, becomes her greatest asset. It gives her confidence that no wealth can buy, because her worth is tied to Allah's approval, not to people's fleeting opinions. Taqwa shapes her soul into something eternal. While the body returns to dust, the light of taqwa remains, guiding her to her grave with peace and raising her on the day of judgment with honor. Obedience to Allah gives a beauty that no mirror can reflect. While appearance fades with time, the light of obedience continues to grow, shining from within and touching every part of a believer's life. When a woman chooses obedience over appearance, she declares that her worth is not measured by society's trends, but by Allah's pleasure. This choice elevates her to a status that the world cannot define. Appearance may attract eyes, but obedience attracts hearts. People may admire outward beauty for a moment, but the beauty of faith leaves a lasting impact that remains in their memory. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reminded us that Allah does not look at our bodies or faces, but at our hearts and deeds. This shows that obedience is what truly defines our beauty. When a woman covers herself for Allah, she demonstrates obedience that beautifies her character. The world may overlook it, but in Allah's sight, she becomes radiant with dignity. Obedience is not restrictive, it is liberating. It frees her from the pressure of trends and fashions, giving her peace in knowing she is honored by her Creator. Outward beauty depends on age, wealth, and circumstance. Obedience is independent of all of that. A woman of taqwa carries her beauty into every stage of life because her heart remains connected to Allah. Obedience refines speech. When she speaks kindly, avoids gossip, and uplifts others, her beauty shines more than any cosmetic could provide. True beauty is in her actions. The smile she gives, the hand she extends to help, the patience she shows in hardship, all of these are forms of obedience that beautify her soul. Obedience brings balance. It prevents excess and protects from harm. Just as modesty shields her dignity, prayer shields her heart, creating harmony in her life. When she chooses obedience, she places Allah above her desires. That decision beautifies her faith because it shows loyalty to the one who gave her life. Obedience in private is the highest form of beauty. When no one is watching and she still remembers Allah, that sincerity beautifies her soul more than any outward adornment ever could. The Quran describes believers as those who submit to Allah fully. That submission is the essence of obedience, and it makes them beautiful in His sight regardless of appearance. Obedience creates humility. A woman who submits to Allah does not boast of her beauty, but thanks Him for every blessing. This humility makes her beloved to others. Obedience transforms hardships into honor. When she remains patient in difficulty, Allah elevates her. That patience is a beauty that trials cannot diminish. Her obedience beautifies her relationships. She becomes a source of peace to her family, mercy to her children, and inspiration to her community. This is beauty that changes lives. Obedience strengthens her resilience. When life tests her, she does not collapse. because her strength comes from Allah. This inner firmness is far more beautiful than outward charm. Obedience is beauty that angels recognize. Every act of worship, every moment of patience, every silent dua adds to her radiance in the unseen world. Appearance may draw people's praise, but obedience draws Allah's mercy. And what is more valuable than being adorned by the compassion of the Most Merciful? Obedience purifies the heart. When the heart is pure, the face shines with peace. Even without makeup or jewels, her presence carries beauty because it reflects sincerity. Obedience ensures consistency. Outward beauty requires constant effort to maintain, but obedience builds a lasting glow that cannot be taken away by time. When she chooses obedience, she inspires others. Her quiet faith, her consistent worship, her gentle manners remind people that true beauty is linked to righteousness. Obedience beautifies her legacy. Long after she has gone, her children, her community, and her deeds continue to shine, proving that faith creates a beauty that never dies. The beauty of obedience is eternal. On the day of judgment, worldly beauty will not matter. What will matter is whether she lived in obedience to Allah, for that is the crown that lasts forever. Obedience to Allah is the highest form of beauty. It shapes the soul, polishes the heart, and raises the believer to a station that no appearance could ever reach. Silence, when guided by wisdom, can be more powerful than speech. A woman who knows when to remain silent shows strength, patience, and dignity that no argument could ever achieve. Her silence is not weakness. It is restraint for the sake of Allah, knowing that sometimes words can hurt, but silence can heal. In her quietness lies maturity. When provoked, silence becomes her shield. She does not waste her energy on quarrels, for she knows Allah is aware of the truth, and her silence becomes an act of faith. Her silence is filled with thought. While others rush to speak, she reflects before acting. This discipline makes her stronger than those who are quick to argue. A woman who holds her tongue avoids regret. Words once spoken cannot be taken back, but silence protects her from sins of the tongue and grants her inner peace. Her silence carries wisdom because it forces others to reflect. Often the absence of words speaks louder than anything she could have said. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that whoever believes in Allah and the last day should speak good or remain silent. This shows that silence, when chosen wisely, is an act of obedience. Her silence during hardship is not emptiness, but sabr. She trusts Allah with her pain, speaking to Him in dua instead of complaining to people. This makes her heart strong. Silence gives space for reflection. In her quiet moments, she grows closer to Allah, remembering Him without distraction and gaining strength through dhikr. Her silence disarms anger. When someone expects conflict and she responds with calmness, she turns tension into peace and demonstrates self-control. Her silence is valuable in gatherings. Instead of rushing to dominate conversations, she listens. Her patience in listening makes her presence meaningful and respected. A woman's silence can protect relationships. By holding back words of anger, she prevents damage that might take years to repair. This is true strength, not weakness. Her silence is powerful because it is intentional. She is not silent out of fear, but out of wisdom, choosing her battles carefully and keeping her dignity intact. When her silence is paired with dua, it becomes a weapon. Instead of arguing, she turns to Allah and He responds in ways no words could ever achieve. Her silence gives her control. People may misunderstand, but she does not need to justify herself to everyone. Allah knows, and that knowledge is enough. In times of injustice, her silence may seem small, but it often inspires action. People see her patience and are reminded that strength is not always loud. Her silence builds mystery. She does not reveal every thought or emotion, keeping her dignity intact and reminding others that not everything must be shared. When paired with kindness, silence can heal wounds. Sometimes being present without words comforts more than endless speeches ever could. Her silence protects her from gossip. By not engaging in idle talk, she avoids sins of the tongue and earns reward for her restraint. Her silence in worship is powerful. In the stillness of prayer and reflection, she connects deeply with Allah, and that silence strengthens her faith. When she chooses silence, she gains clarity. She can see situations with wisdom instead of reacting emotionally. and this makes her stronger in decision making. Her silence holds more weight than empty words. People remember the dignity of her calmness long after they forget the noise of others. Her silence is a lesson to others. It teaches patience, restraint, and the value of wisdom in a world filled with constant chatter. Her silence carries strength because it is guided by faith. It shows that she does not need to prove herself to the world, for her value lies with Allah, who knows what is hidden in her heart. Her silence is not emptiness, though it is fullness. Fullness of trust in Allah, of wisdom, of patience, and of dignity. And in that silence lies a power far greater than words. The greatest protection a woman can carry is not armor on her body, but taqwa in her heart. It shields her from harm that eyes cannot see, and from temptations that whisper into her soul. This shield is invisible, yet its strength is undeniable. It guards her dignity, her modesty, and her faith, keeping her safe in a world full of trials and distractions. Unlike physical shields that wear out, this inner shield grows stronger with every act of obedience. Prayer, fasting, and dhikr reinforce it until nothing can pierce its strength. Her shield is her consciousness of Allah. Knowing that He sees her in every moment keeps her away from what displeases Him and directs her toward what earns His mercy. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described taqwa as a shield against the fire. This shows that the true defense of a believer begins within the heart, not with external barriers. Her shield protects her from arrogance. When success comes, taqwa reminds her to remain humble. This keeps her safe from pride that destroys the soul. Her shield guards her against despair. When hardship strikes, it whispers that Allah's plan is perfect, giving her hope even in her darkest moments. This shield is her strength in moments of weakness. When desires call her away from faith, taqwa pulls her back, reminding her of her true purpose. The shield within is not passive, it is active protection. Every time she lowers her gaze, controls her anger, or chooses patience, she is raising her shield. Her shield also protects her relationships. It prevents her from speaking harshly, encourages forgiveness, and nurtures mercy in her dealings with others. A woman with this shield walks with confidence. She does not fear people's judgments because her protection comes from Allah, not from the approval of society. Her shield is her sincerity. It keeps her intentions pure, reminding her that deeds are only valuable if done for Allah's sake, not for recognition. The shield within is strengthened by Quran. Every verse she recites and reflects upon adds another layer of protection around her heart. Her shield keeps her firm in modesty. While the world encourages exposure, taqwa tells her that true honor lies in covering and preserving her dignity. This shield saves her from wasting life in distractions. It focuses her on what truly matters: worship, kindness, and preparing for the hereafter. Her shield protects her from shaitan's whispers. Even when doubts or negativity approach, her remembrance of Allah deflects them like arrows against armor. Her shield is tested daily, but every trial only makes it stronger. Each time she resists temptation, her inner protection grows more powerful. This shield is a source of peace. Knowing that Allah is her protector gives her serenity, even when the world feels unsafe or uncertain. Her shield teaches her to let go. Instead of holding grudges, she forgives, knowing that Allah's justice is greater than her own. That forgiveness keeps her heart light and safe. A woman without this shield feels exposed to every hardship, but with it she faces life with courage, knowing that Allah never abandons the one who trusts Him. The shield within is her greatest adornment. While jewels and clothing decorate the outside, taqwa protects the inside, and that inner beauty never fades. Her shield is her patience. Each time she bears difficulty for Allah's sake, her soul becomes stronger and her shield becomes unbreakable. This shield is not heavy to carry. In fact, it lifts her because it gives her purpose and clarity, guiding her to live with honor and sincerity. Her shield protects her not just in this world, but in the next. On the day of judgment, when wealth and beauty are gone, her taqwa will be her defense. The shield that protects her from within is her greatest treasure. It is the sign of her closeness to Allah, the source of her dignity, and the secret of her eternal safety. Patience is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forms of strength a woman can carry. With patience, she rises above pain, disappointment, and trials, showing the world that her trust lies with Allah alone. When she holds on to patience, her dignity remains intact. Even when people wrong her, she does not lower herself to anger or revenge because she knows Allah's justice is greater than her own. Patience transforms her trials into treasures. Each hardship she endures becomes a step higher in her rank before Allah, elevating her far above the world's shallow measures of success. Through patience, she learns resilience. Life may knock her down, but she rises again, stronger and wiser, carrying scars that shine as marks of survival and faith. Her patience is not silence in suffering, but active reliance on Allah. She waits with hope, prays with sincerity, and trusts that every difficulty carries within it a divine gift. Patience elevates her character. Instead of responding harshly, she speaks gently. Instead of breaking under pressure, she smiles with faith. That is a beauty no jewel can match. When patience becomes her shield, she does not chase the world. She knows that everything unfolds in Allah's timing and that waiting with sabr is better than rushing with regret. Her patience in worship elevates her spiritually. Waking for Fajr, fasting despite hunger, covering despite pressure, all of these acts place her above those who follow only their desires. The Quran promises that Allah is with the patient. Imagine the honor of having the Creator by your side simply because you endured with grace and faith. Patience makes her unstoppable. When others give up, she continues. When others complain, she endures. And this consistency places her in a position of quiet strength. Her patience inspires others. Family, friends, and children see her calm endurance and learn that true strength lies not in shouting but in trusting Allah. Patience elevates her dua. Every time she continues to ask without giving up, her prayers gain more weight and her connection with Allah becomes unshakable. Through patience, she becomes grateful. She learns to appreciate small blessings while waiting for bigger ones, finding peace in what she already has. Her patience in trials teaches her humility. She realizes she cannot control everything, so she surrenders to Allah, and that surrender raises her in His sight. When she remains patient in loss, Allah replaces what was taken with something far greater. Her patience becomes the bridge between heartbreak and healing. Her patience in marriage, family, and community creates harmony. She endures challenges with wisdom, protecting relationships while seeking reward from Allah. Patience keeps her heart pure. Instead of holding grudges, she forgives. Instead of harboring anger, she lets go. That lightness elevates her above negativity. Her patience makes her independent of people. She does not beg for their validation or approval because she knows Allah sees her effort and will reward her. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that patience is light. That light lifts her, guiding her path and illuminating her soul through life's darkest moments. Patience elevates her legacy. Long after she is gone, people will remember her calmness, her dignity, and her strength in trials, and it will inspire generations. Through patience, she becomes untouchable by worldly noise. Trends, opinions, and criticism lose their power because her heart rests with Allah. Her patience in waiting for marriage, children, or success keeps her pure. She refuses shortcuts that displease Allah, trusting that His timing is always perfect. Patience elevates her in both worlds. In this life, she gains respect and peace. In the next, she is promised gardens of eternity where every moment of patience is repaid. When patience becomes her identity, she no longer fears loss or delay. She knows that nothing escapes Allah's wisdom and everything she bears will raise her higher. Patience elevates her above the world because it ties her to the eternal. While others cling to temporary ease, she clings to Allah, and that makes her a true queen in His sight. Her walk is not just movement from one place to another, it reflects the condition of her heart. A woman of taqwa walks with dignity, knowing she carries honor entrusted by Allah. When she steps forward, she is mindful. Each step is deliberate, free from arrogance and free from showing off. Her dignity makes her presence respected even in silence. Her walk is balanced. It is not hurried in greed nor sluggish in despair. Instead, it mirrors inner calm, reminding others that modesty is more beautiful than vanity. The Quran teaches that the servants of the Most Merciful walk humbly upon the earth. This humility defines her, showing that dignity shines brighter than pride. Her walk reveals modesty. Without words, it conveys that she values herself not for what the world sees, but for the faith she carries within. When she walks, she does not seek attention. Her goal is not to impress, but to fulfill her duties with grace, keeping her focus on Allah's approval. Her walk reflects discipline. She is not swayed by trends that promote vanity. Instead, she moves with a rhythm guided by modesty and sincerity. In her walk, there is no arrogance. She knows pride belongs only to Allah, and humility is the garment that elevates her in both worlds. Her dignity in walking shows confidence, not the shallow confidence of vanity, but the deep strength of knowing Allah protects and honors her. Her walk is a reflection of her inner world. A heart at peace with Allah translates into a presence that carries calm and inspires respect. She walks as a reminder of the women of faith before her, women who carried themselves with dignity and whose steps left legacies, not scandals. Her walk is quiet yet powerful. Without seeking recognition, her modesty leaves an impression stronger than vanity ever could. When she walks into a gathering, her presence speaks before her tongue. People notice her calmness, her grace, and her self-respect, even without her trying. Her walk teaches self-control. She does not allow emotions to dictate her manner, but walks with patience, reflecting maturity and balance. Her dignity in walking sets an example for others. Younger women see in her a role model, proving that modesty is not outdated, but timeless. Her walk avoids exaggeration, no unnecessary display, no seeking of fame, just a steady path, reminding us that simplicity itself is beauty. She walks with awareness of Allah's gaze, not the gaze of people. This mindfulness transforms her steps into acts of worship. Her walk avoids vanity because she knows that beauty fades but dignity remains. That dignity becomes her true crown, shining through every step. Even in hardship, her walk is steady. She does not stumble in despair but moves forward with faith, trusting Allah's plan. Her walk reflects gratitude. Every step is a gift, and she carries it with humility, remembering that health and mobility are blessings from Allah. When she walks, she leaves behind traces of inspiration. People may forget her face, but they remember her dignity and the way she carried herself. Her walk is free of arrogance, yet full of strength. She does not need vanity to prove herself, because her worth is tied to Allah, not to worldly standards. Her walk avoids harm. She does not march towards sin, but chooses paths that lead to goodness, safety, and benefit for herself and others. Her dignity in walking is a reminder that modesty beautifies. While vanity seeks attention, dignity commands respect without asking for it. Her walk reflects her soul. A soul filled with taqwa shapes a woman whose steps are steady, graceful, and purposeful, walking not for the world, but for Allah. The treasures of this world are fragile. Gold tarnishes, beauty fades, wealth diminishes, but the treasure of faith never fades. It grows stronger with time and accompanies a believer even to the grave. A woman who builds her treasure with taqwa holds something eternal. While others chase possessions, her wealth lies in sincerity, prayer, and good deeds that never lose their value. This treasure cannot be stolen. No thief, no disaster, no loss can take away the iman she has nurtured in her heart. It belongs to her in this world and will shine for her in the hereafter. The treasure of taqwa is unique because it grows with use. The more she practices it, the brighter it becomes. Unlike gold, it never wears down but multiplies with every act of obedience. Her treasure is hidden from the eyes of the world. It does not sparkle on her hands or her clothes, but its glow is felt in her character, her speech, and her kindness. Every prayer she offers adds to her treasure. Every time she forgives, every moment of patience, every sincere dua, these become jewels in her unseen crown. Time destroys worldly treasures, but time only increases spiritual ones. The older she becomes, the richer she grows in wisdom, humility, and closeness to Allah. Her treasure cannot fade because it is rooted in sincerity. Even if people forget her name, Allah remembers her efforts and records them for eternity. The Quran reminds us that what is with Allah remains forever. That is the true treasure. Deeds done for Him protected from decay and loss. Her treasure gives her peace. She does not fear losing worldly things because her wealth is stored in a place where time and change cannot touch it. Unlike beauty or fame, which decline with age, her treasure grows with every wrinkle earned in patience and every year spent in worship. Her treasure cannot fade because it is eternal currency. On the day of judgment, worldly riches will mean nothing, but her treasure of faith will buy her safety and peace. She invests in her treasure every day. A kind word, a moment of gratitude, a smile given for Allah's sake, all are stored as eternal wealth in her record. Her treasure is invisible to many, but its effects are seen. Her calmness in trial, her strength in silence, her joy in worship, all are signs of her hidden wealth. This treasure is portable. Wherever she goes, her iman and taqwa remain with her, unlike material possessions that must be left behind. Her treasure cannot fade because it is tied to Allah's mercy. As long as she turns back to Him, even after mistakes, her account is replenished and her wealth grows. The righteous women before her carried this treasure. They left behind little in worldly wealth, but their taqwa continues to inspire millions, showing that true treasure lives beyond time. Her treasure gives her dignity. People respect her not for what she owns, but for the light of sincerity and goodness that never fades from her presence. This treasure is what makes her strong. When the world crumbles, her faith remains. When people abandon her, Allah stays near, holding her wealth safe. Her treasure is limitless. Unlike worldly inheritance, which must be divided, every good deed is preserved fully for her, multiplied by Allah's generosity. The treasure she builds is not measured in gold coins, but in sujood, tears of repentance and acts of service to others. These will shine brighter than jewels on the day of judgment. Her treasure cannot fade because it is linked to gratitude. Each time she thanks Allah, her blessings grow and her wealth increases in both worlds. The passing years are her friend, not her enemy. With every day lived in faith, her treasure multiplies, making her richer in ways that time cannot diminish. The treasure that cannot fade with time is the taqwa in her heart. It outlives beauty, outshines gold, and outlasts life itself, leading her to eternal success in the hereafter. Struggles are not signs of weakness, but signs of growth. With faith, a woman transforms her pain into power, and her trials into a crown that elevates her above the ordinary. Faith teaches her that no struggle is wasted. Every tear, every moment of patience, every sacrifice adds jewels to her crown of dignity in the sight of Allah. Struggles are heavy, but faith makes them bearable. A woman who trusts Allah carries her hardship with grace, knowing that her endurance is recorded as honor. Her struggles do not break her, they build her. Faith turns wounds into wisdom and scars into reminders of her resilience. That resilience becomes her royalty. Through faith, she learns that tests are not punishments but opportunities. Each trial polishes her soul and raises her rank, making her shine brighter than before. Her royalty is not in thrones or titles, but in her ability to endure with dignity. Faith turns her silence in hardship into a crown, admired by angels. Struggles humble her, but faith lifts her. This balance keeps her grounded in life, yet elevated in Allah's sight, granting her true nobility. When others pity her, faith dignifies her. It reminds her that Allah sees her endurance and prepares rewards far beyond what the world can imagine. Faith transforms the bitterness of struggle into sweetness. Her patience becomes the fragrance of her soul, making her presence beautiful even in hardship. The Quran promises that with hardship comes ease. This belief turns her struggles into stepping stones toward peace and honor. Her struggles in worship, in family, in community are not hidden. Faith assures her that Allah values every effort, raising her status with each challenge faced. Faith makes her struggle meaningful. Without it, hardship is empty suffering. With it, every difficulty becomes a pathway to paradise. Her royalty comes from her humility. She bows in sujood while carrying her burdens, and that submission elevates her higher than any crown ever could. Faith makes her struggles temporary, but her honor permanent. The pain fades, but the dignity earned through sabr lives on forever. Her royalty is seen in the way she chooses patience over anger. Even when life is unfair, she does not lose faith, and that trust becomes her true beauty. Faith turns her struggles into lessons. Every setback teaches her something new, and those lessons become treasures no one can take away. Her royalty is not measured by how easy her life is, but by how beautifully she endures its hardships. Faith turns difficulty into distinction. Through faith, her struggles make her compassionate. She understands the pain of others and becomes a source of comfort, wearing her crown of mercy. Her royalty is reflected in her dua. When she turns her pain into prayer, she turns weakness into strength and despair into hope. Struggles remind her that she is human, but faith reminds her that she is honored by Allah. This combination makes her strong and noble. Faith assures her that no struggle is unseen. The world may ignore her pain, but Allah records every moment and raises her status accordingly. Her royalty shines when she forgives despite being wronged. Faith turns her struggle against anger into a victory greater than any throne. Her struggles make her stronger, but faith makes her radiant. It transforms the heaviness of life into light that guides her path. Her struggles are her crown. Faith polishes it. Patience strengthens it, and Allah Himself honors her with it, turning every hardship into eternal royalty. Her royalty is not in this world's recognition, but in Allah's approval. Faith turns her hidden battles into visible honor on the day of judgment. True beauty is not displayed through ornaments, but through modesty. A woman of taqwa carries herself with such grace that her presence commands respect more than any jewel could. Her modesty is her adornment. While jewels shine for a moment, her humility and dignity shine for a lifetime, leaving an impression far greater than outward decoration. Modesty is a language. Without words, it communicates her self-respect, her values, and her devotion to Allah. It speaks volumes where vanity remains silent. Her modesty is not weakness, but strength. It shows she values her worth beyond the shallow standards of society, protecting her dignity like a priceless gem. Jewels may glitter, but modesty glows. Its light is not bound to wealth, but to faith, making her beauty timeless and unshakable. When she lowers her gaze, she raises her status. This act of modesty becomes a crown upon her head, honored by Allah and respected by all. Her modesty protects her from being objectified. Instead of being valued for appearance, she is valued for her heart, her manners, and her faith. Jewels can be stolen, but modesty cannot. It lives within her, shaping her identity and safeguarding her honor, no matter the circumstance. Her modesty beautifies her relationships. People trust her, respect her, and feel peace in her company because she carries herself with sincerity and humility. Modesty is her shield. It protects her from sins of pride and from the traps of a world that measures worth through appearance alone. Her modesty inspires others. Women who see her strength are reminded that self-respect does not come from display but from guarding one's dignity. When she chooses modesty, she chooses freedom. She frees herself from society's pressures and seeks only the pleasure of Allah, which is the highest form of honor. Her modesty is an act of worship. Each time she dresses with dignity or speaks with restraint, she earns reward, beautifying her record in the hereafter. Jewels may impress the eyes, but modesty touches the heart. It inspires love, trust, and admiration that no wealth can buy. Her modesty speaks louder in silence than vanity does in loud display. It is her quiet statement of strength, resilience, and faith. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that modesty is part of faith. This means her modesty is not cultural, but spiritual, making it one of her greatest treasures. Her modesty guards her from arrogance. While wealth can make others proud, her humility keeps her grounded, shining brighter than gold. Modesty adds peace to her soul. She does not worry about competing with others in looks, because her value is measured by Allah, not by people. Her modesty is timeless. Fashion fades, jewels lose their shine, but the dignity of modesty grows stronger with age and wisdom. Every act of modesty polishes her crown of taqwa. The way she walks, the way she speaks, the way she carries herself all add jewels to her unseen crown. Her modesty shows her priorities. It tells the world that she seeks Allah's approval above people's admiration, and that message is far more powerful than outward beauty. Jewels can weigh heavily, but modesty lifts her. It gives her lightness, confidence, and strength that no ornament can provide. Her modesty is her legacy. Long after she is gone, people will remember the way she carried herself with grace and respect, teaching others without words. Her modesty is her crown, her shield, and her strength. It speaks louder than jewels ever could, echoing her faith and dignity across both worlds. Her modesty is her true beauty. It makes her beloved to Allah, honored by angels and respected by people, proving that the most valuable jewel is found in her heart. A sincere heart is more valuable than the finest jewels. When sincerity is joined with taqwa, the heart becomes a crown that dignifies the believer in the sight of Allah. Sincerity ensures that every deed is pure. Without it, even great acts lose their value. With it, even the smallest action becomes a priceless gem before Allah. Taqwa gives direction to sincerity. It makes her worship intentional, her speech mindful, and her choices honorable, forming a crown that shines eternally. Her heart crowned with sincerity does not seek praise. She prays quietly, gives secretly, and forgives silently, knowing that Allah sees what people overlook. Taqwa makes her sincere in hardship. She does not complain for sympathy, but trusts that every test is a chance to draw nearer to Allah. Her sincerity gives depth to her words. When she advises, people listen. Not because she speaks loudly, but because her words flow from a pure heart. A heart with sincerity does not compete with others. It seeks only Allah's approval, freeing her from jealousy, envy, and worldly comparison. Taqwa strengthens her sincerity in private. When no one is watching, she still prays, still remembers Allah, still guards her tongue, because her crown is for Him alone. Her sincerity makes her trustworthy. People feel safe in her presence, knowing that her heart is clean and her intentions are pure. When sincerity and taqwa meet, deeds become powerful. Even a smile, a kind word, or a silent prayer carries immense reward. Her heart crowned with sincerity does not break under criticism. She continues her good deeds for Allah, regardless of what people say. Taqwa ensures that her sincerity is consistent. It prevents her from changing with moods or crowds, keeping her heart steady in worship. Her sincerity beautifies her relationships. She loves for the sake of Allah, serves without expecting return, and forgives to earn His forgiveness. This crown cannot be faked. People may pretend outwardly, but sincerity is only recognized by Allah, and He rewards it with honor. Her sincerity makes her dua powerful. When her heart is pure, her pleas ascend to Allah with strength, opening doors that seemed locked. Taqwa refines her sincerity in giving. She donates not for recognition, but because she knows her true reward is written by Allah. Her heart crowned with sincerity finds peace. She no longer fears the opinions of others because her deeds are tied to Allah's pleasure. Her sincerity teaches her humility. She never boasts of her worship, for she knows that even the ability to worship is a gift from Allah. When sincerity guides her, her mistakes become lessons, not excuses. She repents sincerely, and Allah replaces her sins with blessings. Taqwa keeps her sincerity alive in a world of display. While others live for likes and recognition, she lives for Allah's acceptance alone. Her sincerity shapes her smile, her service, her patience. Each act, no matter how small, becomes part of her eternal crown. A heart crowned with sincerity is a source of light for others. People are drawn to her calmness, honesty, and devotion without her ever seeking attention. Her sincerity in worship elevates her above the world. She bows, she fasts, she remembers, not for titles or applause, but purely for Allah. Her crown of sincerity and taqwa is eternal. While worldly crowns fall and rust, this crown will shine on the day of judgment, honored by Allah Himself. Her heart crowned with sincerity and taqwa is her true beauty. It gives her dignity in this life and a royal status in the next, where she will walk into paradise with honor. On the day of judgment, the crowns and titles of this world will mean nothing. True royalty will be revealed in those whose hearts were filled with faith and whose lives were shaped by obedience to Allah. A woman who lived with taqwa will rise that day as a queen. While others scramble for safety, her patience and sincerity will shine as treasures no worldly crown could match. True royalty will not be determined by wealth or fame. It will be measured by sincerity, humility, and devotion. Those who walked humbly will stand tall before Allah. On that day, jewels will not glitter, but deeds will. A single act of kindness, a hidden dua, or a moment of patience will outshine gold and silver. Her crown on that day will be made of her faith. The struggles she endured silently, the prayers she guarded, and the modesty she upheld will adorn her like priceless ornaments. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us that those who lived with humility will be raised in honor. This is true royalty, reserved for the sincere. True royalty is revealed when angels welcome her with words of peace. Imagine the dignity of being greeted not by people, but by the messengers of Allah. Her patience in hardship becomes her throne. Every moment of restraint, every tear of trust, every trial endured for Allah is transformed into honor before all creation. The world may never have noticed her sacrifices, but on that day, nothing will be hidden. Her secret prayers will be displayed as jewels of honor. True royalty is found in forgiveness. The one who forgave when she could have held grudges will be crowned with mercy, honored by Allah Himself. Her crown will not fade, for it is woven with sincerity. A pure heart is the highest form of beauty, and on that day it will be recognized by the Almighty. While many chase worldly glory, true royalty belongs to those who chased the hereafter. Their focus on eternal success will make them shine when others are in despair. Her crown will reflect her modesty. Every step she took with dignity, every gaze lowered for Allah will be rewarded with light that covers her on that day. True royalty will not be hidden. Allah will call out to those He loves, honoring them before all creation, and no worldly title could ever compare. On that day, she will see the value of her hidden deeds. The moments she thought were small will be revealed as treasures beyond imagination. Her true royalty lies in her service. The time she cared for family, gave charity, and lifted others' burdens will all be raised as marks of honor. Worldly crowns divide people into classes, but on the day of judgment, the crown of taqwa unites the believers as true nobility. True royalty will be given shade under Allah's throne. While others stand in the heat, the patient and faithful will be honored with coolness and safety. Her royalty is eternal because it is granted by Allah. No ruler, no nation, no empire can compete with the honor Allah gives His faithful servants. The Quran reminds us that the most honored in the sight of Allah are those with taqwa. That day will prove it when sincerity outweighs appearance. Her throne will not be built of gold, but of patience. Each moment of endurance becomes a step toward eternal dignity. True royalty is revealed in humility. The ones who bowed in sujood with broken hearts will stand as leaders among the proud and arrogant. Her crown will be her iman. Even if the world mocked her modesty or overlooked her value, Allah will honor her as His queen. On that day, she will realize that true royalty was never about being seen in this world, but about being remembered in the heavens. True royalty will be revealed in those whose hearts lived for Allah. Their crowns will never tarnish, their thrones will never crumble, and their honor will last for eternity. A woman's true crown is not displayed on her head, but carried in her heart. Taqwa gives her confidence, dignity, and strength that no jewel or throne could ever provide. It is this hidden crown that lifts her status before Allah, even if the world does not see it. My sisters, protect this crown, value it, and let it shine through your actions, your patience, and your devotion. For on the day of judgment, when worldly crowns fade into dust, the crown of taqwa will remain honored, elevated, and rewarded by Allah.